This is a video about translators. In computer science, we can have high-level or low-level languages. High-level languages are like programming languages that you'd probably use during your course, like Python and JavaScript. Low-level languages are machine code and assembly language. High-level language is much easier for us as humans to understand, so the source code is much easier for us to read and write. This example shows a written program in high-level language. Computers must translate this into machine code before it can be processed. For example, if I wrote a program volume equals width times height times depth, this would need to be translated so that the computer could understand it. Low-level languages are very difficult for humans to read and write. They're much easier for a computer to run. Machine code is basically strings of binary, and assembly language is much more readable for us, but it's very simple instructions. Let's take a look at a comparison between high-level and low-level languages. For high-level languages, one instruction of high-level code is equal to many instructions of machine code. So one line, such as volume equals height times width times depth, would equate to many lines of machine code. With high-level languages, the same code works for many different processes. With high-level languages, the programmer can use data structures like lists and arrays. The code is very easy to read, understand and modify. The thing with translators is you must translate the code before being understood by a computer. We can understand it, a computer can't. Low-level languages. One instruction of assembly code is only usually one instruction of machine code. One line would be equal to one line. Low-level languages are usually written for one type of machine or processor, so you might have a variety of instruction sets. The low-level language, the programmer needs to know the internal structure of the CPU to be able to code efficiently. The low-level language, the code is difficult to read and understand for us. Also with a low-level language, you have direct control of the CPU, so it's much more efficient and faster to run. So how do we get from high-level language to low-level language? We use something called a translator. Computers understand machine code, which is basically strings of binary. High-level languages need to be translated into this so that the computer can understand it. We have three different types of translator that you need to know: an assembler, a compiler, and an interpreter. The type of translator that we use depends on which coding language you've used originally. If there are multiple source files, then a linker is used to join all those files into one runnable executable program. Take a look at an assembler first. An assembler is used to convert assembly language into machine code. There are many different assembly languages for different CPUs, so each one needs its own assembler. A compiler translates all of the source code at the same time and creates one executable file. The best thing about a compiler is you only need to run it one time. It also returns a list of errors for the entire program. Compiler takes quite a long time to process all of the code, but once completed, the program usually runs quickly. An interpreter translates and runs the source code one instruction at a time. You need to run the interpreter every time you want to run the program. The interpreter will return the first error it finds and then stop running. This is really useful for finding errors or for debugging. The interpreter runs more slowly as it translates. Because it runs at runtime, it's doing it line by line. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful. Please like and subscribe. Bye.